Hey there, how there, ho there. Jeff Turner Diamond welcome you to a second and 10 NCAA college football tribute game. We're having the 1977 Arkansas Razorbacks and the 1990 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There is one reason and one reason only. It is because of this guy, Lou Holtz. Born January 6, 1937, died March 4th, 2026. The head football coach at William and Mary, then North Carolina State, where Phil Rivers and Roman Gabriel went to, among other players. 1 year with the New York Jets, and then he moved to the University of Arkansas from 77 to 83. One of the best eras for Arkansas Razorback football. So woo! All right, I'm a Razorback fan. What do you expect? And then went to the University of Minnesota for a couple of years. That's where they were good in the 40s. Then he went to Notre Dame for 10 years and 10 years of greatness. And he even went to South Carolina for 5 years. 249 college football wins as a coach. Won the national championship in 1988. He led 6 teams to bowl games, and they only coached 4 different programs to the top 15. So, man, oh man. So he was born in West Virginia. He was an assistant for the 1968 Ohio State team that won the Rose Bowl against USC. Then he went to College of William and Mary and got them to the Tangerine Bowl. And then in 72, he moved to NC State, helping them win the 1973 ACC championship, winning 2 bowl games out of 4. He decided to take a job with the Jets. He was selected over Johnny Majors, who was the head coach of the 1976 champion Pittsburgh Panthers. Darryl Rogers and Marv Levy, who soon went to the CFL. So that was actually good. Marv Levy didn't go to the Jets, and the CFL's Montreal Alouettes put it up. Holtz would be 3-10 with 1 game left in the 76 season. Of course, 14 games seasons instead of 17 like we have now. So he decided to leave the pros. Well, of course, as the Jets head coach, Lou Holtz tried to get everyone through with the new fight song, like Rolling with the Cajuns. And on Monday Night Football one night, Alex Karras mocked it. Then he went to Arkansas, 7 years, helping them get to 6 bowl games. His first season, Arkansas got to the Orange Bowl against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma needed to win to get their 3rd national championship in 4 years because Texas lost to Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl. Unfortunately, Arkansas had some problems. Their All-American offensive guard, Leo Harris, injured himself, and then a few days later, Ben Callens and Michael Forrest, the running backs, and top receiver Donnie Bobo were suspended because of disciplinary reasons. Rollie Sales shocked everyone by getting 205 rushing yards, and the Hogs shocked the Sooners 31-6. Notre Dame ended up being the national champs because everyone else fell and all that. Holtz looked like he was going to be at Ohio State once Woody Hayes was ejected for his stuff on Charlie Bowman, but he didn't want to join Hayes. They tied the 1978 Fiesta Bowl. Of course, college games could end in ties prior to 1996. Holtz got them the 10 wins in the Southwest Championship share in 1979. They faced Alabama, if memory serves me right, in the Sugar Bowl. In 1980, they did get to the Hall of Fame Classic, being Tulane. 1981, 8-4, but lost to North Carolina in the Gator Bowl, and won at 9-2-1 at Blue Bonnet Bowl over Florida. After a 6-5 campaign, he was then dismissed and all that. So anyway, yeah, that's the thing. Holtz then went to the University of Minnesota and helped them win 4 games. After the previous year, they only had won 1. They won 7 games in 85, went to the Independence Bowl and beat Clemson. But he did actually accept the head coaching position at Notre Dame because he had a Notre Dame class that said if Notre Dame had the job available to him, he would take it. Of course, Notre Dame had their own things going on because of the whole Jerry Faust era. Unfortunately, the Golden Gophers had recruiting violations prior to the 91 Orange Bowl, so they had a few years. Yeah. So anyway, he went to the Fighting Irish. At Notre Dame, he decided to take the names from the back of the player's jersey, saying that it's a team effort. You don't play for the name on the back. Well, ironically enough, only in select bowl games have Irish last names been on the things. But yeah, that's amazing. So anyway, The 86 squad were 5-6, just like 1985. However, 5 of the 6 losses were a combined 14 points. Notre Dame actually shocked USC on the final day of the season. In his second season, he got the Irish to the 1988 Cotton Bowl, losing to A&M. But then the following year, they beat West Virginia in the Fiesta Bowl, won the national championship. Now, I know I'll explain things later, but in 1989, they actually won 11 games and were number 1. They lost to Miami in the season finale. They did beat Colorado in the Orange Bowl, but they took second overall. The 93 team actually beat Florida State in the famous 1-2 game that NBC got to broadcast, and that was the first time College Game Day actually moved. The ESPN College Game Day went to on campus. So anyway, Notre Dame shockingly lost to Boston College of all teams. FSU was given the national championship instead of Notre Dame, although Notre Dame won the Cotton Bowl that year. He took the Irish to 9 straight years of bowl games, which is a Notre Dame record to this day. Unfortunately, though, Notre Dame was put on 2 years probation because of extra benefits and all that. Unfortunately, Holtz and members of his staff learned of the violations but didn't make any action and all that. However, it didn't really work too well. A lot of people said that Notre Dame was going to get rid of him and he was going to head to Minnesota to be the Vikings head coach after Jerry Burns was fired. Holtz remained at Notre Dame, and then Dennis Green came in for Jerry Burns, and he was pretty good. Holtz left 96 at Notre Dame, and there were rumors circulating around that he would be back to being the Vikings head coach after they wanted to get rid of Dennis Green, but they didn't, and it worked out. He worked for CBS Sports and then came out of retirement to coach South Carolina. Unfortunately, though, they were 0-11 in their first season, but South Carolina had an 8-game turnaround to be 8-4, winning the Outback Bowl over Ohio State. So that was pretty good. In his third season, South Carolina beat Ohio State again in the Outback Bowl. But of course, there have been some things going on. And of course, there would be massive violations and all that. So anyway, we have the 77 Razorbacks team that beat Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl, taking on the 90 Irish team. Now you'll be thinking, wait a minute, why about 1988 Notre Dame? Unfortunately, 2nd and 10 has, well, although they have all these teams and all that you can get with purchase of the game, the only problem is the 1988 Irish are one of the seasons in college football that you have to pay to play the full season. And of course, the teams are ineligible. So I went with the 1990 team that got bit by Rocket Ishmael. Well, he was supposed to have the winning touchdown to beat Colorado to win the title, but unfortunately, though, of course, it was called back on a ticky-tacky play. So here we go. Let's play this game. Dagini, your quarterback, Ben Cowens, and Michael Forrest, your running backs. Of course, we don't count those suspensions and all that. Danny Bobo, Bruce Hay, and Tim Adams are receivers. Offensive line, Greg Kalenda, Leotis Harris, the All-American, Mike Burlingame, Chet Kerman, and Steve Kime for the Irish. Defensive line, George Williams, Chris Sorich, and Bobby Dahl. Andre Jones, Michael Stonebaker, Demetrius DeBose, and Scott Kolokowski doing the job. Todd Light, Greg Davis, Tom Carter, and Rod Smith are your DBs. Here we go.
First down.
Was going to help him out in the long run, didn't work out. He's your pivot. Ricky Waters, yes, that Ricky Waters, great running back for both the Niners and Eagles, alongside Ryder McCullough. Rocket Ishmael, who went to the CFL of all teams. Sean Davis and Dare Brown are your receivers. Gene McGuire, Tim Ryan, not that Tim Ryan from CBS, Mike Helt, Mirko Jerkovic, and Justin Hall for your one. D-line, Jim Howard, Dan Hampton from the 85 Bears, Jimmy Walker, and Marty Mitchum. William Hampton, Larry Jackson, and Mike Massey, linebackers. Patrick Martin, Howard Sampson, Brad Shelby, and Vaughn Busby. So because both teams are first time in place, for the Waters. And hit by West. Now I can get
First down.
Yards to Collins. And 4th and 1. They're going to go for 46 yards.
It's good.
Out of this time.
Timeout, offense. First down.
First down by.
Flag on the play. Kicking. Offense.
Oh, yeah, that's the short field goal by little. This one needs completion. Little's going to go first.
Good.
Right this time.
First down. First down. Flag on the play.
Flag.
Illegal shift.
Offense.
Offense.
Defense can't do it. Fourth and 2. It was a 54-yard field goal. I get it.
Flag on the play. Encroachment. Defense. First down. First down. First down. It's good.
This time.
First down. Flag on the play. False start. Offense.
It's a 55-yard field goal. I think they counts. Yeah, nice job at the 2. Nice job by Steve Oda.
First down.
First down over. 42 yards. Yeah, he went to Super Chargers in 95, but then he also passed away. Two plays, 89 yards and 25 seconds. Shit.
First down. Timeout offense.
Oh yeah, it's still 5 minutes.
Timeout offense. First down. No good.
Calculating 5 for 11, 81 yards. The drives and all that. And 2 trips to the red zone for 8 points. We got 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and then recap. Oh, it hurt. Okay.
First down. Flag on the play. False start. Offense.
First down.
Good. Flag on the play.
Personal foul. Defense. First down. Timeout, offense.
It's good.
First down. First down. First down. First down.
Rocket, and we go to the third and three. It's 21-16.
First down.
Long was for their game today. 2-7. 4th and 2. They're all 2 for 3.
This is good.
They're tied.
First down.
The extra point is good.
31-24 for the others. This is one heck of a game. Happy. 3 yards to count.
First down.
Shooting.
Flag on the play.
Pass interference. Offense.
Whoops. Dude.
Flag on the play.
Encroachment.
Defense.
Defense. First down. First down. First down. Good.
Nice little spot.
Timeout. Defense. First down.
First down for Lion. 31-27.
Timeout. Defense.
Yards to Brooks.
First down.
First down, Bennett. That's game, set, match. Arkansas can't stop the ball. Close game, but the Irish will win. Close game, though. 4 turnovers for Notre Dame, but they still won the game. Now with the scoop and score by Kolakowski, that was the ending play. 31-27. Minor 5 for 12, 95 yards, 3 interceptions. Fed leading passing 9 for 17, 169. So that counts 65 yards running. 71 from Culver. So yeah, the scoop and score by Kolakowski stopped everything in their tracks. 33-26 for the time for Arkansas. With 6 trips to the red zone, that fumble was brutal. In the 4th red zone play. It was brutal. But the Razorbacks try to say, Mike, they just couldn't win. 31-27. Notre Dame wins, and Lou Holtz should be proud of both schools. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond.